Hi guys, this time I'm going to show you how to slice a snowflake that's a little bit fussier and how to do text that's a little bit fussier. This video may be a little bit longer, but we'll try to make it go as quick as possible. I've already inserted this snowflake design and you'll notice that it has a more open middle, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of work with it. But another thing I noticed is that if I go here to where the center is, this point's above the line and this one's below. So I actually need to rotate this just a little bit, and I can either do that by pulling on it here and trying to guess, but I don't like to guess. So I'm going to make sure that I get it back in the corner here. It's always easier to just type in the 0 and the X and the Y up here in the position. Make sure I hit enter. Alright, now if I look at it again, I can go up here to where it says rotate, and I can either rotate up or down. So that's actually going the wrong direction. If you see, it's going opposite because I went down. It's always going to rotate clockwise, if you notice here on the arrow. Alright, so maybe click one time too many. Nope. So moving it a whole 1 degree is actually a little bit much. So now I'm going to enter in 0.5 and hit enter. Let's see if that gets me close. Definitely better. I'm going to try one more time. See if 0.6 takes care of it. Whoa, it flipped it too much. Not sure what it did there. It really rotated it around, didn't it? I think that's pretty close. So again, I want it back in my 0 and 0 position just to double check. Alright, that looks much better. Lost a little bit of my height there. So I'm going to actually unlock this in the proportions and make sure I get back to 6 and 6. Sometimes the design space does some fussy things. Alright, lock it back. Now if I look, my points are lined up much better. So now I'm going to slice again. Square. Pops the square over here on my workspace. I'm going to position the X and the Y at 0, so it puts it in the corner. I'm going to come over here, unlock the proportions. Now, I know that it was 6 before, so I can go 3 and 6. That divides it that way, so I got that backwards today, didn't I? It needs to be 6 here and 3 here. Okay, now, what that's going to do is divide my snowflake in half when I slice. So make sure I have that selected. I'm going to shift and then select. So I've got both selected. Check in my column over here. Slice. After I've sliced, I can see over here the results of that in the column. And I can just select those and pull those off. Now, I could save this for something else, or if I'm not going to use it for this project, have it go away. Now what I have left are the top and bottom halves of my original snowflake. And over here, that's all I'm working with again. I'm going to select the bottom one. And using my arrow key, making it go down, just to make room. So now I've opened up an inch of space for me to put my letters in. Because this is open through here, there's really nothing for it to grab onto. And with other lacy designs, you may run into that same problem. So I'm going to go back to my shapes, grab square, Another way to unlock it, instead of going up here each time, is I can unlock on this left-hand corner here. And now I can move and create my rectangle. Get back into position here. We'll line it up. Drag it across. And then I can decide how thick or thin I want it. Exactly how I want it to line up. I think that looks pretty good. Okay. I'm going to right-click it, tell it to duplicate, and line this one up. That's going to give me more to work with to attach things to. I could also put in a bar here on the left and the right ends if I wanted to have a little more to attach it to. So now if I go to my text, I'm going to put in Merry for like Merry Christmas. So right now I have a very plain font, but I want to click on my fonts. I'm going to go to the system fonts and look at what choices I have in here. I want to find something a little fancier and a little harder to work with. So here's my different system fonts that I could use, or I can use the Cricut fonts and look at what choices they have. I can do a filter, go under my fonts and look at which ones I own. See if there's something there that I like. Let's go with this one, since it will probably look like cursive. Whoops, did not mean to move that. Grabbed the wrong thing. Alright, make sure I'm just grabbing my text here. So I want to put that right on top, and then I'm going to space it out. So again, looking at this, it's not going to fit right. I'm going to unlock my proportions. Squeeze it up to make sure it's attached to something. Now, the problem with this is there's space and it's not really attached really good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ungroup my letters. Now I should be able to move them one at a time and adjust them individually. Make this a little bit wider. Bring it down a little bit more so I can see more of the letters. I want to make sure it overlaps just a little bit. I'm going to unlock this E as well. Make sure it's just touching a little bit. I bring my R across. Unlock on the corner. That way I can scoot it just a little bit. Play around with it until it looks like it's fitting better. Do the same thing with this R. Unlock. Pull it down a little bit. Space it over a little bit better. Now the Y is always going to be your problem child, because you want the tail to show somehow. So you can either drop it lower in this case and it would probably show. You can pop it up and play around with how it overlaps and make it attach a little bit different. Which is what I'm going to do here, just to make it show a little bit better. Again, I've got to be careful that I've got some overlapping going on. Okay, look at how that looks. Got things touching and overlapping. So now I'm going to select by shifting and selecting with my mouse each of these. I'm going to go back and group them again. I'm going to unlock that group so I can pull them out a little bit wider here. Make sure I've got the right amount of overlap. Now I'm selecting all pieces of my design. I'm going to check over here, make sure I've got everything selected. And then I can weld. Okay, when I welded, I ended up with a line here, which means that it's going to cut that instead of doing what I want it to. So I'm going to undo. Looks like I've got just a tiny bit of space there, which was hard to see earlier. So I'm going to shift that down just slightly. Now I'm going to try it again. Just the tiniest space makes a difference. Now I've got everything selected and it looks like it's overlapping better. Hopefully my letters still are. We'll try this one more time. Much better. So sometimes you have to play around with your settings just a little bit. Okay, what I'm going to do next, if I click this, I notice that right now because I added that inch here, my snowflake is 6 by 7. I'll change this back where it's 6 by 6. So I've just corrected my proportions back. If I like this, it's ready to cut, but I'm actually going to add a background to this one. I'm going to make another piece. So I know that's already 6 by 6. I know that snowflakes are based on hexagons. So I'm going to pop a hexagon in here. Size-wise, since this snowflake is 6 by 6, I want a little breathing room on this. So I'm going to make it 7 by 7. Okay, if I want to change the color, all I have to do is hit the little color pop out. And I think I'll make this a lavender. I'm not going to make my snowflake orange. Maybe I should change that while I'm at it. It's just making it so it's easier to see. Let's say I'm going to make it pink. Very girly colors. Alright, so I have my hexagon over here. If I want to add a little hanger to it, I'm going to add a circle up here at the top. I'm going to resize it. Put it in the middle. Overlap it just a little bit. Try to line it up. So I have that welded in there, and I can either hole punch this later or I can actually get it to cut one now. Add another circle. Oops. Make sure I'm on the right one. Okay, so that's the same size as the one I have up there, but I know I want it smaller. Drag that to the middle. I think that looks good. Okay, I'm going to select that circle, select my main shape, and this time I'm going to slide it. So now that dot comes out, that comes out, and here's my background shape. And just to check and see how this is going to look, I'm going to scoot this over. I'm going to send that to the front and check my size. So I made a mistake on my size, didn't I? So now I've got two options. I can either make this a little bit smaller, the front layer, or I can increase the back layer. I already made it kind of big, so I think I'm going to bring this one down until I like it. So I could go that small, get it centered. It looks like I unlocked it and forgot. Let's go back to 6x6. Definitely does not fit. So it looks like on this one, 5.5 maybe. I can change my mind on that if I want to. If I don't like where this is touching, then I can select the other one and change it. Might make this just a tiny bit wider that way. I think I actually like that better. Alright, so now if I hit make it, even though I have them stacked because they're different colors, it knows that it's going to cut those out of the different colors. Alright, I hope that helps them get themselves a beautiful snowflake made. Thank you.